Hi, this is Joe Smith, creator of Irrational Public Radio. Thank you for supporting our podcast, and stay tuned after this episode for a few quick updates about what's going on with the project.
The 12th century philosopher Sush Bayer said, "To truly know a man, you must talk with him in a 4-foot by 4-foot metal box for 4 minutes." It is this insight that inspires our segment, Inside the Metal Box. We'll interview pioneers in the fields of science, politics, and the arts, as well as tell the extraordinary stories of ordinary people, all within the confines of a small, vault-like metal box, an intimate setting to discuss intimate moments in our collective human experience. I'm Penny Bozier, and this week we talk with Graham Von Shreinhaus, whose crippling struggle with claustrophobia led him to lash out and strangle 17 people between 2002 and last week. Graham Von Shreinhaus, thank you for joining us.
You're quite welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I understand you've battled claustrophobia all your life, and yet it wasn't until a few years ago that you reacted violently in response to it. Please tell us about that first incident and what you feel might have triggered it.
Well, it's funny. As you mentioned, and it is accurate to say that I've always struggled with severe claustrophobia, but for most of my life, it simply caused me extreme, inwardly focused distress. And then back in 2002, what I think happened was I suddenly just said to myself, that's enough. I had a moment of clarity, as they call it, and I decided to refocus the negative energy I felt when in a confined space away from me and toward whomever happened to be within arm's reach at the time. It was very liberating.
I see. So when you're in a confined space and begin to feel claustrophobic, you simply decide to channel those feelings into aggression and strangle the nearest person.
Well, I'm not married to strangling as a method. I've just found it to be the most convenient. But and also, if I can point out, it's not necessarily when the feelings of being trapped and confined first begin. I mean, sometimes they do usually begin fairly quickly, but it's not until they reach a certain critical point that I'll show any signs of distress. For a while, even up to say 3 or 4 minutes, I can be perfectly calm, even jovial. I've been known to converse casually, even tell a joke before finally snapping and grabbing for the nearest neck I can get a hold of. Ironically, it's often when I feel at ease enough to, for instance, tell a joke that marks the moment which immediately precedes a violent impulse.
And is there a specific trigger, something that might make you suddenly transition from the calm, joke-telling Graham Von Shreinhaus to the one who throttles people?
Strangely enough, jazz music.
Well, there you go. Well, now, you recently published a cookbook, is that right?
Yes, it's called Wide Open Kitchen, and it's a collection of recipes, both my own and some that were passed down to me from my mother and father, who both loved to cook. Recipes that you can prepare and execute entirely in a big open outdoor kitchen, the kind that people often have on their decks or pool, by their pools, or even at an open campsite over a portable gas camping stove. This was actually the preferred cooking environment of my father. I used to say that he could only properly take care of people's insides when he was outside.
That's very funny.
Thank you.
Well, Graham Von Shreinhaus, I'm afraid we're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us inside the metal box.
Well, thank you, Penny. It was my pleasure.
And thank you, our listeners, for tuning into our program. Please continue to join us every week as we talk with big personalities in a small, confined space inside the metal box.
Hi again, hope you enjoyed this episode. 2 quick items. We've got our new CD that's for sale. It's called Good Morning, You Smell Nice, and you can listen to a sample and purchase it if you like on our website, irrationalpublicradio.com. It contains a few favorite bits from the podcast, but more importantly, over 35 minutes of brand new material that has not nor ever will be part of the free podcast, so you just gotta buy it. Secondly, we're having a CD release/listening party event thing on Wednesday, December 5th in Los Angeles. Again, details on our website, so if you're in the area, we would love to see you. As always, we appreciate you helping to spread the word about IPR, and thanks again for tuning in.